1, go. Hello everyone, this is Across the Board with Jeff Grant here at SBRforum.com, looking at NBA action. Friday night, the Atlanta Hawks versus the Brooklyn Nets in the first ever meeting between these two teams at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. The Nets opened up as 5.5-point home favorites. That number has moved to 6 to 6.5 in the market, while the total is ranging between 191 and 192 after opening up at 191.5. This is one of the more interesting games to handicap on the entire Friday night board due to the fact that these two teams faced each other their last time out. That ended up being a Hawks 109-95 victory as 3-point home favorites, and they climbed over the posted total of 187.5, hence the bump up in the total to 191-192 in the betting market. The Hawks played that game without the services of leading scorer Josh Smith, who was suspended by the team for his actions in a Tuesday practice earlier in the week. He is going to be back for this one. It was surprising that they put up 109 points when you look at it at face value, with Smith combining to score 56 points in the last two meetings against the Nets. But they have played at a higher tempo pace in 3 games without Smith in the lineup this year, 107.3 points per game in those contests. Expect for it to be a slower type pace in this game, with Smith, of course, on the defensive end and also getting the ball in the post. They also shot a season-high 57.7% in that game. That game did take place at Phillips Arena. This team is much better offensively at home than on the road. They've been atrocious shooting-wise on the road away from Atlanta, especially when they were held to under 60 points against the Chicago Bulls earlier in the week. When you look at the Brooklyn Nets, they're 9-2 in their 11 games under interim head coach PJ Carlesimo. They've really done that on the offensive end, averaging 102.2 points per game over that span. That is nearly 8 points higher than the 94.5 points this team averaged in their first 28 games under the direction of the fired coach Avery Johnson. When you get into the numbers here, I think the Nets have to get back to it on the defensive end. They've only allowed opponents to score 100 or more points in 3 consecutive games once this year. So I think they're going to have one of their better defensive efforts of the entire 2012-13 campaign in this one. They are 19-5 when holding opponents under the century mark in scoring. I don't find any clear advantage in terms of the straight bet wagering in this one. Honestly, the line scares the daylights out of me, with it opening up at 5.5 and moving up to 6.5 in some places. That would signal to me that maybe the Nets are the play, even though they haven't had the best of it in this series of late. 0-2 against the spread, the Hawks, in their last 2 games as road underdogs of 6 to 6.5 points, while the Nets have failed to cover the spread in their last 4 opportunities this year when laying 6 to 6.5 points. So with all that being said, I'm going to look at the total. I think it is an overcorrection in the market. I expect a defensive game, especially with the Brooklyn Nets looking for revenge after losing a game. That was the second game of a back-to-back. PJ Carlesimo said his team was exhausted after the previous game, so expect for them to lock down Atlanta, a team that hasn't really done very well offensively on the road. I'm going to pick under 192 in this contest. This has been Across the Board with Jeff Grant here at SBRforum.com. For any further information on this game or any other on the NBA board, you can follow me on Twitter at Jeff Grant Sports. Cut.